All right, we're gonna cover routine hive inspection. This is the way I was taught to inspect. Most of it was after spending a day with male Disselkeen, and some of it I'm sure is not from him, and I forget what comes from whoever. Things blend together after 12 years. God, this thing is full of honey. All right, so we've peeled off the top 3 supers and we've got the queen excluder off. Now we're just gonna go through a routine hive inspection. I like to have my smoker between my knees when I'm working, and it's always where I need it. Try to smoke as little as possible, but it's just always good to have it when you need it. I'll show you the way Mel taught me to take frames out. Streamlined way of doing it that he taught me. I'm sure somebody has a far better way. I'm sure I've forgotten some of the nuanced details that he taught me, but this is the way I do it. Got a faster, more efficient way of doing it. I'd love to know. Got everything peeled off. We're down to the bottom brood box. The bottom box, which is the brood box. So now we're going to just smoke one time, and that should probably do it. Just a little bit to push them off the top bars, and that's it. I try not to be heavy-handed with the smoke. So there we go. From this, we can just pull out, say like frame number 2. Just go through that. We got all pollen and capped brood. Side we've got pollen, a little wet honey, eggs in the center, capped brood at the bottom. Just set that aside. Pop out number 1. I always pull frame number 2 first. Working from either side. I don't care about which side, but always the second frame in first, because it's easier to get out than say like frame number 1 against the wall, and I'm not smashing bees by rolling them against the wall. Capped brood, pollen, and that's about it. Brood is emerged in the center, but she's not laid it up yet. Set those aside. Now we have tons of room, like working room, and just one light puff of smoke. Now I'm just gonna, like, my hive tool, just fan out these frames, and then I can put my hive tool away. I won't need it till the next hive. So while we've got them smoked down, just one time we go through, crack one end of all the frames, and I put my hive tool away. I'm done with it for this hive. I just pull the frame diagonal and pull it out. So just looking. Mel taught me break the frame into thirds when you're scanning for a queen. Just look the bottom third, the middle third, and the top third. And he also said when I pull a frame out, I want to look at this. I got the sun behind me. I want to look at this newly revealed face right here for the queen before I look at my frame, and then look at the side that was covering that seam first. There's nothing. There's no queen. This was new foundation last week, so they're just starting to work on it. And I can put it out or I can put it in. As long as I have two frames out, then I have working room. Looking real quick. Don't see her. Fumbled it there, of course. Lots of pollen, but no open brood yet, which is a cause for concern. It definitely has me aware something is up. It's just a nice brick of capped brood, kind of typical brood pattern with this queen, and really most of my queens. We can put the smoker over there for now. We don't need it. Here we have early white larvae. Here I do have eggs. They're laid over almost flat, so those will be the third day eggs. So we're still looking for eggs that are standing straight up in the bottom of the cell. That would be they were laid within the last 24 hours. And we've got the cell, and the egg is laid in it. On day 1, it's straight up. Day 2, it's about 45 degrees, and the third day, it's almost flat on the bottom of the cell. So I'm really wanting to find eggs that are straight up, then I know at least I've had a laying queen within the last 24 hours. It'd be the theme of the day if we can't find her, I'll tell you that. We have eggs, again they're laid over. Oh, there she is. I was just about to say I have eggs straight up over here, and here's our queen. She's fine. So this actually is our breeder queen for the first round of grafts that I did in March this year. You can see these are mellow bees, super mellow. We just smoked initially, we have not smoked yet. Since then, and they're totally fine. So there's our queen. We found eggs straight up. There's no queen, not even queen cups, let alone swarm cells. So we verify that on our last frame here. And of course, every time you say it, we'll make a liar out of you. So here we've got a queen cup. Is there anything in it? There's not. So we just smash that. We've got another Doolittle type cell over here. And there is a larva in it. So I will just go ahead and cull that. Smash or shut that down. Blow bees gently off the bottom. Reveal that queen cup. There's no egg in it. So we can eliminate that. Really quick. If there's any more. We got eggs and very young wet larvae and all those cells in the center here. And then capped brood, and then probably another round of older brood there. Yep, older white open brood. Blow gently, disperse the bees. We've got pearly white to just starting to be capped in the center here. So we've got a couple brood cycles in motion there. So that's it, we're done. That's our whole hive inspection. We know our queen is on this frame. She's in this seam, or she was last time we saw her, so we may be back a frame or two away. Plastic frames, it's great because you can slide multiple frames. They don't get glued down like wood frames do. So we may entomb 1 or 2 bees, but we got a pretty good comfort level that our queen is protected in the seam there. Slide them over. Replace number 1. Number 2 goes back in. And we saw that she's not out of frame delay. We had 2 or 3 frames there that had empty open cells. So we don't have to cycle out any brood comb and give her clean empty comb to lay on. This hive is in really good shape. You can see calm demeanor. They don't require smoke. We wave our hand above. It doesn't get any attention. These are very gentle bees. They're not aggressive. These are not hot bees at all. You can see they're not swarmy. They're not aggressive. You could see some indications of why I chose her as a breeder. And that's it. We put our queen excluder back on, restack boxes. And centered up there. Button this hive back together. A point I want to make here is I do cycle frames. Like if that I do single brood box management, right? So if it gets laid up wall to wall with brood and she has nowhere, the queen has nowhere to lay, swarming would be imminent. So a way that I circumvent that or manage swarming, I will cycle frames up out of that brood box, say like a frame of capped brood or even a frame of mixed brood, some open, some capped. I'll cycle it into the super above it and then put either a frame of foundation or a frame of empty drawn comb into my brood box. A critical point or management practice, if you do that, now you've put brood up above the excluder. You have a queenless super. There's brood in there, there's nurse bees covering and tending that brood, but there's no queen. They will perceive that as a queenless situation and they will make queen cells. You got to be on top of that. So what I'm going to do now is go through this first super, because I did find the inspection, I did find a couple frames of new foundation that I put down in there last week, which tells me I likely have brood cycled up into this first super. I absolutely have to check that within 5 to 7 days of putting it up there. I have to check that for capped queen cells or queen cells in motion. Once it's capped, they will swarm. That's the one caveat to single brood box management. If you're cycling brood up above the excluder, you have to go back and check that within 5 to 7 days. Here we are at the first super, and again, we don't need smoke. I can wave my hand here. These bees are as chill gets with bees. Because I have bees clustered here, my assumption is that this is where one of these two frames is brood. Put my hive tool away, I've already fanned one side out. I don't need a hive tool again. So this, as suspected, that's a brood frame I cycled up. Most of the brood has emerged out of it. We blow gently, disperse the bees. We can see they're starting to backfill with wet honey. And the same on this side. They've got, here's what I'm talking about. This is just a queen cup. And of course the queen is down below the excluder, so she cannot lay in that. That's not a threat. I still will squish it. So again, a nice frame, just a brood brick of capped brood. And it was probably put up there as capped brood, so anything that was on there was too old to make queen cells. There's not a single queen cell on there. Just beautiful capped brood. As I put all the frames back in, I like to center them in the box. That way, my next round through or next inspecting time, if I just always do that as a habit, I can work the box from either side. I can push this aside and pull this frame number 2, or I can push this frame aside and pull this frame number 2 to start. If I always center my frames, it just makes life easier next time. All right, let's get this hive back together here. We got a bunch of bees on top of the excluder there. So we can give like 2 puffs of smoke. We'll smash less bees. We're always gonna smash some. I'm honestly not that concerned. We go diagonal corners, one hand here, one hand up here. If I do that, I know my box is centered. I don't have to jimmy back and forth. Diagonal corners one time, I'm good. Get things back in the same orientation I took them off. This is the top super. I hope you can see. We got a ton of bees on the bottom. I will absolutely smash those on all that ladder comb if I put it back on like that. So I will go ahead and just give 2 puffs there. You can see all those bodies are cleared. We're not making a graveyard between our supers there. That's back on. Our inner cover never came off, that top super. We didn't bother inspecting those because they're just honey supers. There's nothing to look at there. I use 2-inch rigid foam. I'll cover that in another video. That stays on the hives year round between the inner cover and the telescoping cover. I like my notes. Basically the Michael Palmer method. It's a running tally of the status of the hive. I use Sharpie oil-based paint pen. No plug or anything. It's just, it works. So that's what I use. And I can keep about a year's worth in our hot southern sun before they go away. All right, so here's my note. This is what I'm writing. So I got the date, April 28th, 2022. We found egg. We found our white queen, WQ, E for egg. That's really about it. There's nothing. We didn't have any queen cells. It was just textbook how you would want it. And that's it, we can button this up. In the past, we had eggs, we had a white queen, we C/B, that's checkerboard, 2 frames down, just as I found. And again, noted, no QC, no queen cells, so there's no swarm cells. And that's it. Even the previous inspection, similar thing, no queen cells noted. So this is just not a swarmy queen. Great, and they're super mellow, super calm, don't need smoke. These are great bees. I'm happy to have them. Happy to make more daughter queens from this one.